finishing up with calculus, the application of calculus is where I give you certain scenarios and you've got to get maximums, minimums, speed, even acceleration, etc. The question here had something to do with a parabola, and the parabola, the equation was y equal to x squared. Something important that I want to emphasize here for you. They did tell me that A was a certain point, but I would like you to tell me what this point must be. If the whole parabola has an equation of y is equal to x to the power 2, it means that whatever your point is, your x value, that is t, will make your y value be t squared. Because it's written in that form. Whatever the x is, I take it and I square it to get to y. So, in other words, say for instance, I've made this point A. What would be the y value? Why? Because the formula for this particular question was, say it was x squared plus 1. It wasn't. But if it was, then this would have been a squared plus 1. Because I needed to be in one variable to be able to work further with it. They didn't ask you for that in this particular sum. They said it's fine. They're going to give it to you like this, t and t squared. But you should know for future references that if I'm giving you the equation, actually all gazillion points on this graph, all of them meet that requirement, that the y is the x's squared. So if this point, for instance, was P, then what would be the partner? P squared. This doesn't want to write anymore. Are you happy on that? So that this one, it was given in this case, so it can come to us, but this would have been the whole crux of the whole sum. But if you didn't know that, you wouldn't be able to get to the sum. If the point is t and t squared, then prove to me that AB squared is this answer. Now, how would I get AB squared? Is A being t and t squared, and B, which is the point 3 and 0. What does AB mean? It's the distance. So you're going to go get the distance. Now guys, please remember that the distance formula is the same as Pythagoras. Because if you look at it, this is still a right angle triangle. So that this distance here is what? T squared. The y value is that wide length. So this is t squared. And this distance here? 3. Careful, careful. This is 3. Up to where? Up to the origin. And then this one here, that value there is t. So what's this distance in between? 3 minus t, not t minus 3. It's always the larger. Why is it larger? Because it's there. Minus this one. So it'll be 3 minus. Make sense, guys? Interesting? If you wanted to use Pythagoras then, what would it have been? If you wanted to say this one is 3 minus t, and I square it, plus this one, but it also has to be squared, it'll give me AB. Perfect. Most kids, I think, would have done the distance formula. So if you did distance of AB, it would have been the root of, and then you get those two values there, that x and y, that x and y, and you would have said x, which is t, minus 3, square it. The y values is t squared minus 0, square it. Have a look. T minus 3 squared, 3 minus t squared. Because it's squared, it's the same thing. And this is t to the power 4. That's also going to be t to the power 4. Do you see that Pythagoras is the distance formula? Okay, but then they didn't want me to find AB. They wanted me to find AB squared. So that would make that root disappear. You're going to time this out. T minus 3, I'll write out twice. Plus that is going to be t to the power 4. Happy on that? Root is gone because I've squared on this side, and they wanted me to find AB squared. So if I do go get that, it's going to be t squared minus 3t minus 3t plus 9 plus t to the power 4. This is where your marks are going to go. Not for that answer because they gave it. So they're going to tell you that t minus t, 3 and t minus 3. I'm going to time it out. I'm going to get my answer. And then please do me a favor and write it the way that they wanted it. So that it will be t to the 4. Then the plus t squared. Then the minus 6t and the plus 9 to make them happy, because it doesn't matter if it's not in this order, but rather let the markers see exactly what they were asking for. How many marks? Around about 2, 3, for knowing that you must either use the distance formula or Pythagoras. Doesn't matter, you're going to get to the same answer. Not for the answer, for knowing whatever the technique was that you had to use, substituting it in, so that'll be about 2, 3 marks. Then they say, but please then find me the value of t for which I will have a minimum value of AB. You recognize it? Whatever I'm asking the minimum of, I needed that formula. So if I'm needing formula AB, I need to first of all go get AB to get to the minimum of AB. Get the height, maximum height. I've got to have height to do the maximum of. Depth, I've got to have a depth. It's always good if they gave it to me. So if I couldn't get there myself, it was given. So now there's one thing to recognize. If I say, for what value will this be a minimum? But it's squared, guys. So the minimum will still be, even if there's no square, that value's minimum will make the square a minimum. Think about this. What's the square got to do with it? Don't square. Leave it like it is. But the thing is, whether it's in root form or whether it's in square form, it's that thingy-majingy there that will have to be a minimum to make AB a minimum, or AB squared a minimum. So I'm like kind of like just ignoring that square for this reason. Because if I want the minimum value of this, it's actually going to give me the minimum for square as well. So I just need to find the minimum of this value. So for minimum value, I'll say, take that AB squared and do t, 4t. Give me the answer, please, in calculus. 4t to the power 3 plus t, 2t minus 6. For a minimum and a maximum, we write? Is it bothering you, the story about the square? It should, until you understand it. It's not about the square. If square is that answer, then the minimum for square will be the minimum for this one. It doesn't matter if I square it or not. This has to be a minimum. And to find the minimum of this, how will I then get my answer? Factorize. What type of factorizing? It's synthetic division. It's Batman. Right? How do I do this, Batman? First of all, you've got to go get me the first one that works on your calculator, either with function mode or with equation mode, to find the first one that works. And the one that works is 1. Let me help you. So if you have 1 in there, it's going to have to give me a 0. Are you with me? Otherwise, I know I'm wrong. So going to your calculator does tell you that the first one has to be t minus 1. AB has to be t minus 1. And then I need to find this bracket. So find the one from your calculator, from fx, from finding where that answer is equal to 0. So now I have my coefficients. And the coefficients are 4, 0. Aha, excellent, 0, 2, negative 6, guys, crucial. It's t to the 3, 2, 1, 0. There was no t squared. You can't leave it open, then the stuff doesn't work. It's like when you divide in primary school, you've got 10,000s, 1,000, 100s, tens, and units. You can't have something missing, there's got to be a 0 for it. So then the technique works how? You've got to have the 4 down there. That's 4 times it with each other gives you 4. Add is 4. Times is 4. Add is 6. Times is 6. And then if it automatically, without crooking, works out to 0, then I know I'm right. So what must the bracket then be? 4t squared Remember, if this was to the power 3, then this is to the power 2. Plus 4t plus 6. Can you imagine if you forgot that 0, it's not going to work. Okay. And then what? Because I now have to find when this is equal to 0 for maximum. So I've still got to carry on, don't I?
Yes.
So can I get a factor for that one, please? How do I get it? Well, this is a normal quadratic trinomial, and if you go work with the calculator and you fill it in with your A, B, and C on the brand new calculator, you will find there's no answer. Are you with me? There's no answer. What does the calculator say to show me that there's no answer? It shows me ... I for imaginary. Did you find that? Because the imaginary answer means that there is no solution for that one. So the all part's not there. So in other words, which value of t will this have a maximum? So t must be equal to 1, so that that distance there can be a maximum distance. Because you can imagine for yourself that it can sit anywhere. But where must it be? What must t be so that this answer will give me a maximum distance? So t has to be 1. So that will be, that answer there is 1. This distance here is 2. And if this is 1, then that's going to be 1 square, which is still going to be 1, giving me the maximum distance over there. And there's definitely other ways of doing it. Is the application of calculus easy? In general, it's never level 1. Okay, but whatever they give you, differentiate, put it equal to 0, try and factorize. But we saw another synthetic division here as well that we haven't seen in a while. So, find me the value of t. The value of t is 1 for the maximum value, for a minimum value, sorry. Okay, because it can obviously be bigger. Just take it way there, then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. Are you with me? So that would be a stupid question. Minimum is going to be a very specific answer. Right. Question number 3 of that same exercise said, if I have a prism and I gave you that the volume of this prism is given, then fantastic news for us, because the moment that they ask me for the maximum volume, we just go there. And we say, well, what is going to be the maximum value there? You're going to say differentiation of derivative 3 equal to 0, which is going to be 3x squared
minus 10x plus 5.
Are you happy on that? What must I do? Factorize, right? Did I write it down right? Yeah, I didn't.
It was supposed to be 8.
Thank you. I can remember that one. Because I'm not finding factors here. If I don't find factors, it's not a problem. Then I go to the formula. Because then the answer will be something like 1,30, whatever, and that's okay. But it was wrong. There should have been. Okay. Then to find our answer, because I knew this from a previous class, must be minus 16. So it's going to be x minus 5 and 3x minus 1. If you go through the new calculator, your answers would have been x is 5 or x is a third. But when you go back to your brackets, you can't say x minus 5 and x minus a third. I'm going to hurt you if you do that. Remember how you must look it right? Not that way. Then, which one is the maximum?
5.
Nope.
No, 1.
Which one is it? Why? Because you're guessing. Look at the shape. It's going to be positive, negative, positive. So which one is going to give me the max? The first one of the two. Of which two? This one will be for x equal to a third, and this one will be for x equal to
5.
So the 5 is for the minimum. So you have to say this one is not applicable, this one is the correct answer. Not always the biggest one, because it's not the volume. This is not the volume, it's the x for which it will have a maximum volume. And the maximum volume will be when x is equal to a third. Are you with me? Where is question 3.1 now? I'm making a point here that if you struggled with 3.1, all's not lost. Because you have a formula for which to get the derivative equal to 0 for a max or a min. There's your 5 or whatever marks. But the first part was difficult. Because they said, if the volume is given by this, and they tell you that the height was given by, just correct me if I'm wrong, 5 minus x. What must be the surface area? What is this area equal to? So how do I do that? So I know that this volume has got to be 5 minus x times something, because it's the area of the base times the height. So I'm just writing the area of the base there and the height here. Are you with me here? How do I find that? Synthetic division again, twice in one homework exercise. You have to be able to do that if it gets asked. How do I find it then, guys? With synthetic division. What do I write in there? 1
minus 5.
What comes here?
5.
Okay. Now if you're wondering, is it 5, is it minus 5, you'll definitely know your answer is right when you get here. If it's not 0. Okay, you guessing 5? Shop, shop. So then 5 times what? Please remember to bring down the 1. Times with that gives me 5. Added is negative 3. Multiplied is negative 15. Added is negative 10. Now multiplied gives you negative 50, and yes, it gives me 0. What does that imply for me here? That this bracket should have been, it's not right what I'm writing now, so take notice here. I'm thinking x squared minus 3x minus 10. But there's something drastically wrong with it. Well, not drastically wrong, you would have lost 1 more. What's wrong with this thing? If you time it out, you're going to get minus x to the power 3. You see it? You need to swap them. This is not an equation. This is an expression for volume. So you can't just make things disappear. They gave you 5 minus x. What I got there is what? That's the way you would taught. If 5 works, then my first factor is x minus 5. And this is perfect, but it's not the way that they want it. X minus 5, and this trinomial, that's perfect. Still going to lose a mark because you're not doing what I said. I said that the height must be 5 minus x, and it makes a difference there, whether it's 5 minus x or x minus 5. It does. Here, I can chop and change as I feel. Can I not change it then to 5 minus x? And just said you can't just time out. But you can do it legally. If you do it how? If you time both of those brackets, and nothing wants to work anymore, both of those brackets with the, but then you multiply with the, which is right, mathematically. Okay, so one little over the edge mark. So this would then be negative x squared plus 3x plus 10. That would be the area of the, and that was the question. Find me the area of the base. That was not the area of the base. This is the area of the base. And please answer the question. Right.